Hello and welcome back to Anastasis Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ananya B. Chatterjee, your VARC mentor. So today we are at Bibliophile 3, the third episode in the series. In this series, we take up essays, articles, blogs from various websites on the web, and we try to understand the passage, read it together, understand the nuances. Through this, we are trying to build a reading habit, get more interested in a varied range of topics, and look at the nuances in writing styles and purposes and main ideas by the authors. So the article that we have selected today is Earth's Future. It has been titled Earth's Future, How the World Might End. How the World Might End. And the subtitle is, This is what science reveals about the future of Earth and the factors that will influence how long our planet sustains life. So pretty much the main idea has been given already. The author is just going to build upon this and expand on this idea. It's been written by David J. Iker. Okay. All right. Walking and driving around through our everyday lives, we tend to think of Earth on Earth. We tend to think of life on Earth as a static proposal. What do you mean by a static proposal? Something that won't change, things that won't change. It is static. We think that the way we are living here, it's going to go on and on till eternity. That's the thought that the author opens up with. Rarely do people look up and think of the big universe that exists around us. We do live in an expanding, evolving cosmos, and the universe is a very big place. Our planet, an almost infinitesimally, it means immeasurably, incalculably. Infinitesimally, it means a very small, incalculably, immeasurably small part of it. I still recall that picture from Hubble's telescope taken from somewhere in space, and our Earth is looking like a small dot in that, our entire planet. Whether we are aware of them or not, many factors are at play in our solar system and beyond. So, the author in the first paragraph already talks about our scope of knowledge, which is limited. Limited scope of knowledge that we have, right? Life on Earth originated about around 4 billion years ago, and complex creatures like us, I know, insert jokes here. So the author is also very humorous. Author is pretty humorous in this sentence. He's saying that I know I should include a joke here as to the mankind, you know. So we have a data point here 4 billion years ago. It is always a good idea to focus on facts. Facts like time, name, scheme, these can become questions in reading comprehension passages later. We call them data points, right? Life on Earth originated around 4 billion years ago, and complex creatures like us, I know, insert jokes here, have been around only a few 100,000 years. That's the story of mankind. A few 100,000 years. In the context of uh, the entirety of life, which is 4 billion years old, right? But life on Earth is a temporary activity. So the author is now contradicting the popular notion. He started with how we perceive life on Earth to be a static proposal. And at this point, he asserts that life on Earth is a temporary activity. It will not go on forever. On one hand, many cosmic dangers exist that could threaten life on Earth. There are no eerie forces. Eerie It is pronounced as eerie. It means unusual, unusual, or strange. There are no eerie forces out there to magically protect us. The universe does not care. And if something snuffs us out, snuffing us out as in ends our existence, if something snuffs us out, well, those are the cosmic breaks. There would be a cosmic power at play which would wipe out the mankind, according to the author. So now, this is called anticipation in reading. At this point, because he's already talking about cosmic dangers and he's already talking about cosmic breaks that can snuff us out, we can understand through this introductory passage that the rest of the passage is going to talk about those breaks, those dangers in detail, right? A large asteroid or cometary nuclei hits Earth. That could be the first danger. The dangers are many. Hollywood has drawn on some of them to make a series of mostly terrible movies. Right? The author is not mincing his words here, ladies and gentlemen. His idea of the depiction of cosmic threats to the mankind as depicted by Hollywood, he thinks that they have done a terrible job in depicting them. First and foremost are small bodies in the solar system. What are these small bodies? More than a million are known. We are just talking about our solar system right now. And the ones that usually concern planetary scientists are so called near Earth objects. So, what is relevant in this context? Not the entire universe and all the celestial bodies. We are concerned about the near Earth objects whose orbits carry them inside the orbit of Mars. More than 32,000 asteroids are known in this category, and some 120 comets. So, comets are those celestial bodies with a tail, lightning tail that we see in the night sky sometimes. And asteroids are, the remnants of stone-like formations which became which came into existence as an aftermath of the formation of the solar system and how the chaos died down. Yeah. So 32,000 asteroids, those stone-like structures, and almost 120 comets. Again, we have two data points here. Fortunately, none is large enough to equal the killing power of the KG impact. You may not know this. Let's talk about this. The catastrophic event 66 million years ago that wiped out the dinosaurs. So it's theorized that there was this asteroid that hit the Earth 66 million years ago when Earth was inhabited by dinosaurs and other such creatures of huge magnanimity, let's say. Fortunately, none of those 32,000 asteroids and 120 comets are large enough to have an impact of that magnitude anymore. Such an impact from an object 10 kilometer or larger in diameter could be a civilization killer. So now we know the extent of damage to the Earth's surface that can actually wipe out civilization. However, other large asteroids or cometary nuclei could approach us and collide with Earth from the distant solar system and beyond. So, the author is in two successive sentences. In the first one, the author is actually putting our minds at rest and saying that, well, don't worry, those comets and asteroids are not big enough to create an impact that happened similar to the impact that the Earth faced 66 million years ago. But then again, he's changing his entire attitude and saying, but then, well, there could be such celestial bodies coming to us from distant solar systems and beyond. Why only consider our solar system? Right? Supernovas, gamma ray bursts, or geomagnetic storms strike Earth. That's the second threat. Other cosmic dangers exist. How about a relatively nearby supernova? Supernova is often the last stage of a huge star, dying star, let's say, that would strike our planet with intense sterilizing radiation. Now, here, see the beautiful wordplay. Now, these are the important things that, as a serious reader, you should focus on. Sterilization usually is understood as a process which is good. It is often used in the context of medical fraternity, medical science, that you should use sterilized devices while going for surgery. You should sterilize your hands and sterilize the wound. But here, when the author is saying sterilizing radiation, he's talking about humanity being wiped out from the face of Earth, not just humanity, maybe life in general. Right? So here, sterilizing means not getting rid of bacteria or virus like we usually understand. It means the end of life as we know it. Similarly, a relatively close gamma ray burst could spell the end of life on our planet. Less likely risks could come from antimatter or a very low mass black hole passing into our domain. Unlikely. So, three things that can happen along with this. So, first thing, a nearby supernova can spell doom. Then, a close gamma ray burst can end the life on Earth. And antimatter or low mass black hole passing into our domain. This is the third one. Unlikely but hypothetically possible. It is, author is not saying that it's likely, but it's possible. But dangers also lurk very close to home. What? What about an incredibly powerful geomagnetic storm or a huge coronal mass ejection? Coronal as in huge. Yeah? Coronal mass ejection from the sun. What if something is unsuited and hits the earth from sun? That is the very thing that gives us energy to enable life in the first place. Sun, as we know, is responsible for life on earth. Other risks are out there too. Now, author is not going to stop here. He's going to give you more risks now. Cataclysm, the evolution of the sun and what it means for earth. Cataclysmic events. Achha. Okay, so the word cataclysmic, one second. Allow me 1 second here. So the word cataclysmic means disastrous or very violent in terms of natural calamities. Cataclysmic events aside, we can now understand the time scale of the end of living things on earth. So now the author is from speculative or conjectural notions, he is now delving deep into what we already know has to happen, inevitable. So look at the transition here. Cataclysmic events aside, we can now understand the time scale of the end of living things on earth. You see, the sun not only the source of our energy on earth and rather a middleweight main sequence star, but it is also a variable star. Variable as in it's subject to change very slowly over time. Its bolometric magnitude. So bolometric magnitude is basically, in the scientific parlance, it is a sum total of all the radiations from various wavelengths that are emitted from a celestial body, more often than not a star, right? The sum total of all kinds of wavelengths and all kinds of radiations. The overall amount of energy it emits is increasing. It is increasing. The study of how long life on Earth will last, given the sun's variability, has been an active area of research for a generation. So people have been studying this because changes in sun would definitely spell changes in the way we look at life in terms of our planet Earth. An influential study was published in 1994 when Michael Rampino, a New York University biologist, teamed up with Ken Caldera an atmospheric scientist. So look at the combination, a biologist and an atmospheric scientist. Then at the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory in California. Their paper, The Goldilocks Problem, Climactic Evolution and Long-Term Habitability of Terrestrial Planets, established a baseline of understanding Earth's long-term outlook. So this paper delved deep into the viability of life in the longer run on this planet Earth, right? Not just Earth, usual terrestrial planets. The Rampino caldera study investigated why Venus is too hot, Mars too cold, and Earth just right for life. But of course, the long term evolution of the sun is the central player in the game because it's at the core of everything else, all the other planets. Conventional wisdom suggests that Earth should be too cold to support long term warm blooded life. Hmm? But it is warmer than the freezing point of water due to greenhouse warming by water and carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So, greenhouse had an important role, greenhouse effect, right? Greenhouse gas moderation plays a big role in inhabitability. Otherwise, we would have all frozen to death. We would not have even appeared in the face of Earth, right? In addition to distance from the sun and surface reflectively of a planet. What does it mean? Just give me once. So, in addition to distance from sun and surface reflectively of a planet. So, in this sentence, the author is actually underlining the parameters that are important for life to exist, be created. Greenhouse moderation plays a big role in addition to distance from the sun and surface reflectivity. So, 3 points. Greenhouse moderation, number one. Distance from the sun, number two. Surface reflectivity of a planet, number three. These are the three characteristics underlined by the author, highlighted by the author in terms of the habitability quotient of a planet. Earth is the Goldilocks planet for life. Goldilocks problem, we talked about it. In our solar system, largely due to its huge quantity of water. So, the fourth parameter. Our planet contains a vast amount more than it might have at our distance from the sun. But there will come a time when this is no longer the case. The author is being very cautionary now. Oceans will boil. Regardless of other factors, the sun's increasing radiation will alter our planet in a fundamental way over the coming few 100 million years. In 1.5 billion years, models show that Earth's global surface temperature will rise to 80 degrees Celsius, approaching the boiling point of water, which we know is 100 degrees Celsius. This is independent of the creation of human fossil fuel climate change. So, of course, we are trying to expedite the process by, using fossil fuel on a large scale and, you know, digging our own grave, which could, of course, accelerate the problem. So the author takes that into account that it may happen anyway, but we can accelerate the problem the way we are moving with things right now. With more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the boiling point could come far sooner. Greenhouse gases. The bottom line, it's a rhetorical question. Looking at a variety of important factors such as Earth's surface temperature, water mixing ratios in the stratosphere, and other data, planetary scientists calculate the Earth's ocean could be gone within a time scale of 1 billion years or less. So it started with 1.5 billion years, but the real thing is going to happen probably way before that. And believe me, when the planet's oceans boil away, That will pretty much ruin everybody's weekend. The author is so sarcastic here. At this point, I would like to introduce you to one of the figures of speech. So, figures of speech are used to make language more impactful. So, I'm sure many of you have learned things like alliteration and similes and metaphors. So, there is a figure of speech also known as understatement. Understatement is basically when you are deliberately trying to minimize the magnanimity of something for effect. For example, Sachin Tendulkar is a decent batsman. He is not decent, that's an understatement. He is the god of cricket in India. Lata Mangeshkar sang reasonably well. Come on. She's an icon, she's a legend. She defines music in Indian context. Understatement. So, when the planet's ocean boil away, look at the understatement being used here for effect. That would pretty much ruin everybody's weekend. It's not about ruining somebody's weekend. It's not as simple as it's huge. People are gonna die. Humanity will cease to exist as we know it. That's an understatement. It will spell the end of life on Earth, at least a relatively fragile life like us. Yep, we are fragile. Fragile is weak. Hardier organisms like microbes beneath the planet's surface could hold on for a somewhat longer interval. They have a better chance of existing than humans. So, regardless of what we do to imperil ourselves as in to bring the doom to our doorsteps, see climate change. Yeah. The end of life on Earth will most likely arrive in a billion years at the very latest. Given that the simplest life on Earth originated nearly 4 billion years ago, about 80% of the story of life on Earth is already written. So we are left with just 20% of it. You understand what a humbling thing to realize that 80% of the story of life on planet Earth is already written. We are just probably at the epilogue chapter of the book. Yeah. So, a couple of important things. What is the main idea of the passage? I think the main idea was categorically given in the title itself. What science reveals about the future of Earth and the factors that will influence how long our planet sustains life. Right. The author has used multiple tones. He seems sarcastic at one point, he seems pretty somber at another point. He is very subtly precautionary. He's giving cautionary, he's giving warnings that this will happen, that will happen. He also has a bit of acceptance when he says that it is going to happen, irrespective of what you do to accelerate the process or you don't. Right. But the overall narrative style, overall writing style could be revelation. Revelation is a beautiful style, let me, uh, to reveal something, to raise the curtain from something. So, yes, he has used narration, description, examples, everything. But the purpose here is to reveal the factors that can contribute to the end of life as we know it on this planet that we call home. It's a beautiful passage, very simple, but a very good passage if you are just getting into the habit of reading. I would share the link of the actual article in the description box. And please keep reading. I'm going to see you in the next episode. Take good care of yourselves. Bye bye.